We moved into Briarwood Hills for peace. I was nearing retirement from a 26-year career in law enforcement, commander of special investigations, quietly overseeing major cases from behind the scenes. My wife, Janine, had passed 2 years ago, and all I had left was my daughter, Amelia. She was 14, born with cerebral palsy and a fighter from the start. She didn't walk like other kids, but she smiled brighter. She didn't talk loudly, but when she did, it mattered. Amelia and I moved into a small single-story home at the end of Willow Creek Lane, hoping for a fresh start. It had ramps, widened doors, a therapy room. Peaceful. Or so I thought. That's when we met her. Karen Benedict. HOA president. 60-something with an iron-pressed bob, pastel cardigans, and a mouth sharper than barbed wire. She introduced herself like she was royalty, waving a clipboard of violations she'd already scribbled for our freshly unpacked home: grass overgrown, driveway chalk art inappropriate. And my favorite, too many therapy items visible from the sidewalk. That meant Amelia's walker. I gritted my teeth, reminding myself of what Janine used to say: never punch down. People like that, life will swing back at them on its own. Still, Karen escalated. Every day she patrolled our house like a prison warden. She banned Amelia from riding her adaptive trike on the sidewalk, claiming it was too noisy. She harassed the nurse aides. She even tried to fine me for putting in a small flower bed, saying it didn't match the neighborhood aesthetic. But the worst was the park incident. Saturday morning, bright and calm. Amelia was at the neighborhood park, flat ground, rubber mulch, wheelchair-accessible swing set. Her occupational therapist was with her, watching from a bench. Karen was also there. According to the police report later filed, Karen confronted Amelia, accusing her of vandalizing the park by leaving chalk drawings, simple hearts and flowers. When the therapist stood to intervene, Karen pushed past her, shouting something about brats with special treatment. Then she grabbed the swing's chains with both hands and yanked. Amelia, caught off guard and with minimal control of her limbs, flew sideways. She hit the support beam hard. Concrete beneath her. Paramedics arrived 6 minutes later. She had 26 broken bones, both arms, both legs, cracked ribs, fractured pelvis. The therapist was crying. The cops on the scene were stunned. Karen claimed she barely touched it. No arrests were made. Not yet. I stood over Amelia's hospital bed that night, watching her struggle to breathe through the oxygen mask, machines beeping like metronomes counting my rage. Karen didn't know who I was. She just thought I was some quiet, single dad in an old house. She didn't know I ran the damn precinct. She didn't know I had a badge bigger than her ego. But she was about to. The moment I left the hospital, I wasn't just a father. I was a loaded gun with a badge. Amelia was in surgery. Titanium rods. Internal bleeding. They said she might never walk again, not that she walked much before, but still. She had worked so hard in therapy, and now some tyrant in a pastel vest had torn it all down over sidewalk chalk and a swing. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just drove. Straight to Briarwood Hills HOA headquarters. Which, by the way, was Karen's garage. Her door was open. She was sipping wine from a boss lady mug and bragging to some man with a Bluetooth earpiece, probably her second husband, poor bastard. I parked and walked straight up her driveway. Karen Benedict, I said. She turned. Didn't even look concerned. Mr. Harris, is it? Here to pay your fine for the unauthorized planter bed. I looked her straight in the eye. No, I'm here to talk about the 14-year-old girl you just hospitalized. Her smile cracked. If you're referring to that unfortunate accident. Don't, I said, voice flat. You don't get to say it was an accident when you grabbed the chains and yanked. There are witnesses. There are camera feeds. I know the layout of that park like the back of my hand, because I'm the one who approved its build when I was chief inspector for city planning enforcement in 2018. That made her blink. Her husband shifted uncomfortably. I'm Commander Daniel Harris, I continued. Metro Police. I don't flaunt it because I believe people deserve respect regardless of rank. But you crossed a line. Karen's voice faltered. I was just trying to maintain order. That park has rules. Let me be clear. That order put a disabled child in the ICU. And you just admitted, in front of a witness, that you intervened physically. I leaned forward, voice cold enough to frost her wine glass. See, Karen. The moment you touched that swing, you moved from annoying busybody to felony assault. She gasped. I didn't mean, she was drawing. She was disturbing the community. Amelia weighs 85 pounds and can't run. You outweighed her by at least 60 pounds, and you yanked her from an adaptive swing. You fractured her pelvis and both femurs. Then I pulled out my phone. Also, I said, I have dashcam footage from a neighbor across the street. Shows everything. Full audio. It's already in the chain of evidence at my department. And I haven't pressed charges yet, Karen. I came here first. To give you one last chance. She paled. Chance for what? To resign from the HOA. Publicly. Immediately. To sign a formal apology to Amelia. And to step the hell away from anyone's child ever again. Karen's face contorted. That mask of control? Gone. You can't threaten me. I have power here. I know judges, council members. And I know law, I said. You hurt my daughter. I'm not just her father, I'm a cop with jurisdiction and 26 years of legal threads you can't imagine. Her husband put his hand on her shoulder. Karen, maybe we should talk inside. She snapped at him. No, this is our neighborhood. I stepped back. All right. I offered the peaceful road. I got in my car and drove away. By morning, my department had issued the warrant. Karen just didn't know it yet. Karen's arrest didn't go quietly. The warrant was airtight, aggravated assault on a minor with disability enhancements. A second-degree felony. And thanks to my department's quick handling, the security footage and eyewitness testimonies were sealed under official record. The media didn't have it yet, but that wouldn't last long. The next morning, we rolled up to her house at 7:06 a.m., 2 black SUVs, 1 patrol cruiser. I didn't ride along. Too personal. But I authorized everything. Karen answered the door in a pink robe and pearl earrings. Still clutching her clipboard. Good morning, ma'am, said Detective Vargas. Karen Benedict. She blinked. Yes. Why are there? You're under arrest for felony assault on a disabled minor. Please step outside. Her mouth dropped. What? No, this must be a mistake. I'm the HOA president. Vargas didn't flinch. Turn around, ma'am. She screamed. Kicked. Yelled about how she was doing her civic duty. Her neighbors stepped outside to watch, mouths agape, bathrobes fluttering in the wind. Phones recorded. One lady dropped her coffee mug. Karen shrieked as they cuffed her. This is harassment. This is an abuse of power. Funny, considering that's exactly what she'd been doing for years. Within the hour, the footage leaked. The neighbor across the street, Jeremy, a retired air traffic controller with a thing for home surveillance, posted the full dashcam video anonymously on a local forum. In it, you could see everything: Karen approaching the swing, yelling at Amelia, grabbing the chains, jerking hard. Then, the sound of a body hitting metal and concrete. Amelia's scream. That video went viral in less than 5 hours. By evening, justice for Amelia was trending on every platform. The footage hit national news. Advocacy groups demanded accountability. Disability rights organizations contacted my department asking if we were pressing federal charges too. The entire city of Briarwood Hills suddenly found its halo tarnished. And Karen? She was denied bail. I visited Amelia again that night. Tubes still ran from her side, but her face lit up when I entered the room. Hi Daddy, she whispered. Hey, Angel, I said, kissing her forehead. Guess what? What? I think Karen's going on a very long vacation. One where the food's bad, and nobody cares about HOA violations. Amelia giggled, then winced. Will she ever come back? I sat beside her and took her hand. If she does, I said, she won't recognize this place anymore. Because what Karen didn't know was that the deeper we dug into her HOA empire, the darker it got. Financial fraud. Illegal fines. Misused community funds. Nepotism in board appointments. It wasn't just about Amelia anymore. Karen had ruled this neighborhood like a mini dictator for over a decade, and now, everyone wanted her crown burned. And I was just getting started. The thing about tyrants like Karen? They never stop at one victim. Once the arrest was public, my inbox exploded. Emails, voicemails, anonymous tips, residents who'd been too afraid to speak before now came forward in droves. Elderly couples fined for having Christmas lights up a day too long. Single moms threatened with liens for painting their doors the wrong shade of beige. Veterans ordered to remove American flags on non-designated poles. Every story added another crack in Karen's porcelain empire. My team opened an official investigation into the Briarwood Hills HOA board. I recused myself formally to avoid conflicts of interest, but everyone knew I was watching. And what we found? Rot. Deep, decades-old rot. Karen had been issuing fake citations for years, phony violations backed by internal documents that never existed. She would then pressure homeowners to pay fines directly to a private account under the name Briarwood Preservation Fund, except that fund wasn't registered with the HOA. It was a personal checking account she used to pay off a $62,000 home renovation, complete with heated floors and a luxury wine fridge. Worse, she used the HOA's legal muscle to target vulnerable residents, disabled, elderly, widowed. If someone didn't comply, she'd tack on legal threats, inflate the fines, then pass them to a collection firm. That firm, of course, was a side business owned by her nephew out of state. Fraud, racketeering, embezzlement. This wasn't just HOA abuse. It was organized crime in cardigans. We issued subpoenas, froze accounts, called in state investigators. Every day brought a new headline. HOA president arrested for assault, now facing financial crimes probe. Disabled teen's injury uncovers massive suburban fraud ring. Commander Police's daughter becomes face of reform movement. Karen's mugshot was everywhere, hair disheveled, eyes wide, pearl earrings missing. A far cry from her manicured persona. Her lawyer tried to run damage control. Claimed she was stressed and overwhelmed, blamed menopause. Blamed cancel culture, even blamed me, saying I had a personal vendetta. Damn right I did. But I didn't need to bend anything. The truth was doing all the bending for me. Meanwhile, inside the neighborhood, something beautiful happened. The residents, newly awakened, ousted the entire HOA board. They held emergency elections. Volunteers showed up to repaint neglected curbs, fix park benches, remove pointless signage. The sidewalks no longer had chalk bands, they had chalk murals. One house even painted "We Love Amelia" across their garage door. Amelia saw it all from her hospital window when they wheeled her into the sun one afternoon. "Did they do that for me?" she whispered. "They did," I said, crouching beside her wheelchair. "You helped stop a monster, sweetheart. And now the neighborhood's taking back what's theirs." She smiled. It was tired, but proud. That night, I got a call from the district attorney. "We're stacking the charges. Civil suits are incoming too. She won't be breathing fresh air for a very, very long time." Good. But I wasn't done. Because while Karen sat behind bars, trying to understand how her pastel world collapsed, I had one more card to play, something she never saw coming. They say karma comes for everyone eventually. But Karen didn't get karma. She got me. 3 weeks after her arrest, her preliminary hearing was held downtown. The courtroom buzzed with reporters and quiet murmurs. The gallery was packed with Briarwood Hills residents, many of them clutching HOA violation slips like war trophies. Karen was brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit, hair pulled tight, makeup smeared under her eyes. She looked smaller, somehow. Not physically, but in that way people do when the illusion of power is gone. The judge called me to testify, not just as Amelia's father, but as a commanding officer who had monitored the evidence, whistleblower tips, and years of documented abuse. I took the stand. "Commander Harris," the DA said, "do you believe the assault on your daughter was an isolated incident?" "No," I said. "It was the breaking point. But this case isn't just about Amelia. It's about the culture of fear this woman built around her HOA authority. She weaponized bylaws. She targeted the weak. And when my daughter, a disabled child, dared to smile on a swing, she treated her like a criminal." I turned my eyes on Karen. She looked away. The courtroom was silent. Then came the parade of victims. A veteran who Karen tried to evict over a PTSD support dog. A widow fined $1,000 for using a wheelchair ramp without HOA aesthetic clearance. A teacher whose yard she had forcibly entered to remove a little free library. Each one gave their statement. Some cried. Some shouted. But all of them came with receipts. Then came the bombshell. The finance audit from the state investigators. Turns out, Karen had siphoned over $420,000 over 11 years from falsified fines, rigged HOA contracts, and shell companies. She wasn't just cruel. She was a white-collar criminal hiding behind garden rules and smiley newsletters. The judge looked over the evidence and leaned back in his chair. Mrs. Benedict, do you have anything to say for yourself? Karen stood. Her voice cracked. This was never supposed to happen. I was trying to help the neighborhood. I did what I had to do. Sometimes people don't follow rules, and someone has to be firm. He stared at her. Firm? You sent a child to the ICU. The gavel dropped. Karen was denied bond permanently. The trial was set for felony assault, financial crimes, and racketeering. She faced a maximum sentence of 35 years. But that wasn't the end. At the next Briarwood community meeting, I showed up, not in uniform, not as Commander Harris, but as a father. Amelia came too, in a wheelchair, blanket across her lap. The new HOA board president, a young, compassionate woman named Priya, announced a new initiative. They were renaming the park. From that day forward, it would be called Amelia's Haven, a space for all children, with new inclusive playground equipment and a permanent plaque reading, in honor of courage, community, and the power of one child's smile. Amelia beamed as the neighborhood erupted in applause. Someone handed her a bouquet. Someone else brought balloons. She looked up at me, tears in her eyes. Is it really over? I kneeled beside her. Karen's gone. The fear's gone. You helped change this place, baby. You didn't just break her hold, you rebuilt everything she tried to destroy. That night, as fireworks lit the sky over Briarwood Hills, I finally exhaled. Not as a cop, but as a father whose daughter never stopped smiling, no matter how dark things got.